Hi everyone, this is Carolina and thank you so much for joining me on another Seasonal Saturdays. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this candy wrapper box. I've seen many of them and I just thought I'd make my own version. They're really pretty fun and you can fit a lot of things. There's openings on either side. I'll show you how to get to this point. And I started with a pretty heavy cardstock and just added designer paper in the middle. Finished it off with an image and some bows and a sentiment, and when we go ahead and get started on that. So you want to start off with a 7 3/4 by 7.5 piece of cardstock, and then on the 7 3/4 side you're going to score on each side a 1 3/4, flip your paper and score again a 1 3/4. Then I used a score pal just because I think it's the easiest way to get all these other scoring marks done, and went ahead on the 7.5 side. I'm going to go ahead and score at 1.5, and I just kind of like to do a couple of scores a couple of times through just to make sure I have it. 3.5, again one more time at 5 inches, and then my last one's going to be at 7 inches, and I'll have this on my blog as well as underneath this picture here. You'll be able to see it, but just in case you miss the dimensions, I'll have all that on my blog. So again, 1.5, 3.5, 5, and 7. Okay, and then at this point you can go ahead and get rid of your score pal. And what I'd like to do is show you how I made it with the designer paper in the middle. And what I did was basically cut a 7.5 by 4 1/4 piece of paper, adhered it to the middle of it. You'll see the score lines. It's between the 1 3/4 score lines you had made earlier. And before I actually adhere, I'd like to just kind of go through the whole cardstock and just add or just fold at every single score line you made. Go ahead and then add your designer paper. Once that's adhered, then you're going to go ahead and add some double-sided tape to that little piece you have there on the side. I believe it's 1/4 of an inch or so. Anyways, so once you have that, it'll look like this. Go ahead and take off that double-sided tape, and then this is what you're going to use to basically hold your box together. Fold it in, and I found that if you fold in that little piece, just kind of score it again. It's a little sticky, but you can do it. It just makes it a little bit easier. I start on one corner and just kind of adhere that as best as possible. And you know, with double-sided tape, you can kind of take it off really easily if you don't put too much pressure on it. So like I did right here, it just wasn't lining up good, and then just kind of adhere it again. And then on the second pass, I went ahead and kind of just went through it a little bit more so that it sticks. Okay, then you want to just bring it down and squish it down towards you, so you end up with something like this. Okay, then you're going to go ahead and take your ruler and measure from your designer paper to the edge of the cardstock, which is 1 3/4, and then you're just going to go to the middle of that and make a marking as such, and then go ahead and flip your paper and then just go up about 1/2 inch is what I decided to do. If you wanted more of an opening, you can. This just seemed to work the best as far as having enough of an opening on the sides, and you'll see what I mean once we start cutting. Then from that, go to the edge of the designer paper, and then to the edge of your cardstock. And what you'll essentially end up with is a triangle. And then this triangle is the one you're just going to cut out with your scissors. You can use an X-Acto knife, really whatever's your preference. I went ahead and used scissors just because it's a little easier than using an X-Acto knife on camera, but I actually prefer an X-Acto knife. I get crisper cuts that way. Okay, so just basically like this. If you don't cut all the way through, just snip it a little bit more. And then that's what you'll want all the way around. So you'll do that side, you know, to the opposite and all the way on top. So you'll basically end up with something like this, all 4 sides. Then you're going to take your box and squish it down the other way. So your cuts are on top, and you end up basically with 4 other sides that you need to do the same thing to. Once you're done with that, you can just go ahead and erase any little markings you might have left. I don't do it very hard. I do it enough so when I make my tracing so that I see it, but you don't want it too much so that it stays there. In case you weren't able to cut all the way through, just want to take your scissors and just snap. Just nip it out a little bit all the way around. Okay, so then you end up with your box. Now you start doing all the folds. I found it easier if you start folding before you stuff the box. Just go all the way to all the lines that you see, such as this one. Fold that down. Do it to all 8 sides. So this side and as well as the bottom side. And then just again, I'm just going through and folding everywhere that it's supposed to fold. Then you're going to tuck that in as such. And what you'll end up with is like a little hole in the middle, as you can see right there. And first I'd like to do one side so that I'm able to stuff the box and then have, you know, one side secure. I'm going to show you different folding methods. This is just ribbon and just tied it in a knot. I'm also going to show you ribbon and other fun stuff, but for this purposes I'll just show you a knot and go ahead and cut it, and simple as that. Then I'm also going to show you this other fun one I did just to make it look a little more lush. I went ahead and tied a classic bow, which you can find a tutorial on how to put that together on my blog as well as here on YouTube in my account, and you'll be able to find that. And then just tied an extra tie around it so that it's easier to then just tie around the box, and it looks so pretty from the front. Went ahead and tied that down and then trimmed the ends of it so that you don't see it on the other side, so it doesn't, you know, so it looks more finished and more professional and such. So try to make your tails kind of hide behind the box. You'll see what I mean in a second. Let me get scissors here. Okay, I just want to give you a better view, so go ahead and snip and then snip the other side. Oops, let me turn this around really quick. And snip. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so that's pretty. And then we're going to go ahead and just kind of fluff this out so it looks a little bit nicer, and flip your box over and just start stuffing it. What's cool is that you have enough room to put a lot of things, but you want to make sure you have stuff that won't go all the way through. So if you have candy that's big enough, such as these, or if you actually want to use smaller stuff or even cookies or whatever, then you can just go ahead and use a plastic bag, which I will show you in a second. And then you're just going to go ahead and then tie this side, as like similar to how I did the other one, and then you should be done. But before I finish, I want to go ahead and show you how I did, how I used a plastic bag. So just in case you have smaller items that you want to fit in there. So let me get this candy out, bring the plastic bag over, and then these are just treat bags that you can find in many of the treat stores, craft stores, and pretty much anywhere. And what I like to do is put it in the box so that I know how wide and how much to put in there. And for video purposes, I'm just going to go ahead and put the remainder of the bag inside, but you can actually do a little tie on the bag itself if you'd like. But just to go ahead and move things along, I'm just going to go ahead and tie it up. And as you can see, I was just showing you how it doesn't fall through. Had I put those candies in without a bag, it would have fallen right through the other side. So this just kind of holds things in place. Again, I'm going to trim away similar to how I did the other side. Let me finish tying it here. Okay, so again, just using your scissors, trim so that you don't see this tail on the other end. You can actually put decorations on this end if you want, but I just thought it looked fine as is. So pretty, I think. But I want to go ahead and add some images, so I went ahead and added this cute little tree. I added some rhinestones, added dimensionals in the back to pop it up, as well as a little sentiment here. So let me show you other samples and other fun things you can do with this box. So as I mentioned, I went ahead and used these cute little image and sentiment. They're from Ippi, it's called Christmas and Mistletoe set. And I love how sweet they are. They're just very simple, and you can make them rustic or you can make them quite elegant. The other one, Christmas one I used, is from Gina K Stamps. It's from their Stamp Kit Holiday Cheer Collection. And I used the little bird and didn't really use a sentiment this time. I just thought it kind of looked nice. This other one I thought would be cool for a baby shower. Why not? I mean, you want to always do favors. So this one is from Tailored Expressions, and it's from her Berry Special set. And love how this is actually, some of the money goes to charity. So you must look it up. Again, from Tailored Expressions, I used that little bear and the Your Berry Special, which I thought might be kind of sweet to give to people who come to the shower. And then I wanted to use some of the new felt that's coming out in January. A girlfriend of mine gave it to me. It's an early Christmas present. It's from Stampin' Up. So, you know, as simple as that, you don't even have to use stamp images. You can just use decorations. So there you go. Christmas, birthdays, showers, possibilities are endless. Thank you so much for joining me, and hope to see you next week. I have a special surprise.